All right. Hey, what is up, everybody? Excited to be back today for actually, I think it's a monumental episode, Greg. The
I
first
totally
one
agree.
on LinkedIn, which we have been talking about since pretty much the beginning of this project. You have to get to 150 followers on LinkedIn for
Yes.
the particular page that we have. And so that happened recently. So we are here for episode one on LinkedIn, episode 29 total of the amount of AI-driven business daily live episodes that we've done. Really excited, Greg. How are you feeling? I mean, I know that this was your idea to get on LinkedIn. So how are you feeling about it?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling awesome. I'm excited about the possibility. I think YouTube is a great platform. It's obviously a
Mhm.
great streaming platform. The fact that this is AI driven business, to me, it fits so well on LinkedIn. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited to be streaming live on LinkedIn.
Yeah, me too. Well, as normal, I talk about leaving comments. Let us know your thoughts as we go through this. We're actually going to do a whole recap of what we've done so far and kind of where we're going. Considering, kind of feel like LinkedIn is the a new thing for us to give a I guess a marker of, hey, here's where everything is. Here's where
Yeah.
we'd like to go. Before we do that, Greg, we didn't talk about this ahead of time. I'm going to introduce myself. I'll let you introduce yourself
Oh
after.
yeah. It's a great idea.
And so, for anybody that doesn't know me, I have been selling on Amazon actually since 2015, and I grew that business to over $1 million a year, and have trained thousands of people on how to do that as well. And now I currently run a few different businesses with Greg, actually, like Replan Dashboard, a software company that we have, and some other things that we're doing, and including this. But this is something that I like to do: is train people, test different things with AI, and see how we can use AI in business, whether it's Amazon, e-commerce, or regular things like answering emails or whatever else it might be. So I do have a YouTube channel at Ask Jimmy Smith. We also have the YouTube channel at AI Driven Business, I believe is what it is, at AI Driven Business. And so that is where you can connect with me, is on one of those two channels. But that should be a good overview, I think, of who I am. So, Greg?
Yeah. Yeah. So oh, where to begin? I'm the CEO of 413 Group, which is a digital agency focused primarily on big commerce implementations, but really focused in the e-commerce space. And we're and I have, as Jimmy mentioned, a number of other things that I'm involved with. Replan Dashboard is the company that Jimmy and I have together with our friend Carl, and just a number of other things because apparently these are our hobbies. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason. But
Mhm.
Jimmy and I both have a love for emerging technology and for driving efficiency in business and for just teaching and training people how to do things easier, better, faster. And that's where AI driven business was born, which is probably a good segue into why did we start this? Where did this even come from?
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty exciting too. So, I mean, we both have obviously been interested in AI, as people know now. But I think I don't remember whose idea it was. If it was yours, probably yours, one of
I'll
ours.
give you credit. I don't
Okay.
remember one of the two. Oh, actually, it was. Yeah, actually, it was neither of us. I happened to be on LinkedIn because, as most people scroll TikTok and Instagram, I scroll LinkedIn. That's the level of nerd that I am. I was on LinkedIn and saw someone said, "Hey, I started a business with ChatGPT, told it my criteria, created this business. Oh my gosh."
Mhm.
And I saw a couple of those and I thought, that's neat, but nobody's really talking about the details behind it. And so I reached out to Jimmy and said, "Oh, look at this, kind of cool." And he immediately said, we should totally do it." And I think he and I were both thinking that the other one was joking or like wasn't as serious as we were. And I'm like, "Yeah, we should. We definitely." And so then we decided to do that. And it's been interesting the the twists and turns this journey has taken along the way because
Mhm.
it I think we both had an expectation we might be a little type A sort of folks, and we both had an expectation of, so are we going to be at 1 million yet, or is it going to take us another day?
Uh-huh.
Which, of course, that's never how life works out.
Mhm.
But it's taken some twists and turns. I don't know if you wanna walk through some of the memory lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the way that it started, based off of that post that you had sent me, was we wanted to build a business solely using artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, other tools and programs, and just do it live every day, so people could actually see the boring process of it and how it would work, etc.
Yeah,
And so we started. We asked ChatGPT, "Hey, here's a budget that we have. What businesses should we start?" And we came up with a drop shipping business at the time. And we tried to build some of the drop shipping stuff until we realized that it was going to be way more of our own personal involvement than the AI could handle at this time. I'm assuming in the future AI will be able to do all the drop shipping stuff, but placing orders, making sure that that stuff was done properly, finding good suppliers, testing products, all of those things had to be done. And so we decided to pivot from there to something that was what we thought would be less intensive. And it technically, in some cases, was, which would be an affiliate
yeah,
marketing website, right? And so that affiliate marketing site was doing great. The problem is we didn't know anything about it was drip irrigation, is what was selected as a niche. And so as it was writing articles, we had no idea to know whether or not these were good. And so we decided to pivot then to how can AI be used in multiple types of businesses, specifically starting with Replan Dashboard. That's something that has was working pretty well. We continued to do that, setting up blog posts and creating systems behind it. And recently, though, we decided it might be more beneficial to people to get some daily AI updates and to be able to talk about how we're personally using artificial intelligence in our own lives, and to continue to do some of those projects and test out new software on those business ventures of our own and other people. Is that a good recap, Greg, of everything so far?
that was brilliant. That
Uh-huh.
was almost better than ChatGPT can do. Almost,
Uh-huh.
almost.
Well,
Oh, that
speaking
was
of
fantastic.
ChatGPT summaries, though, we do typically have a daily summary made by ChatGPT of our last episode. So why don't I go ahead and read that so people know what we did last time, and then we can kind of get
Awesome.
into what our plans are moving forward. So basically, what I do here, I've outlined it on the YouTube channel, but we get the transcripts using a Google Chrome plugin, and that transcript opens it into ChatGPT and gets a summary, and I set it up to read in this way. And so here it goes. In the last episode of AI Driven Business Daily Live, the hosts celebrated their 28th episode and acknowledged having a full month of content. They summarized the previous episode, which focused on their progress on LinkedIn and their enthusiasm for AI advancements. They discussed challenges with AI generated summaries and prompts while exploring new features like ChatGPT plugins and Zapier integration. They demonstrated how to connect Gmail to trigger ChatGPT conversations from incoming emails. The hosts expressed excitement about using ChatGPT to handle large email threads and discussed maintaining a respectful and casual tone in responses. Overall, they were impressed with ChatGPT's capabilities and encouraged viewers to experiment with the discussed features. That was a pretty good summary.
That was.
It did not say that we also had Zapier create the draft email. So it would read the email, send it to
Correct.
ChatGPT, and then Zapier would also create the draft for then you to
Yep.
review, which was really
Yes,
cool. These
it
new
was.
plugins that AI or that ChatGPT has added recently for pro users is extremely powerful. And so I think that kind of gave us the idea to look at some of the daily updates that are happening, not just in ChatGPT, but also in other AI software tools like Bard, which we started reviewing on different days, and some of the more niche ones as well that kind of connect to some of the open AI technology or connect to other technologies. So I think that was a pretty good summary. Do you have anything to add there, Greg?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, one thing that I will mention since we're early on is we will be missing next week. We typically have been doing these daily, but there's a lot of things going on next week for both me and Greg. So we will be back Tuesday, May 30th. The 29th is Memorial Day in the States. So we are going to be doing Tuesday, May 30th at 12:15 Central Time. I guess that's PM Central Time, not AM. Let me edit that. I had changed it to
I'll probably be
11:15 AM earlier, so there we
I'll
go.
probably be sleeping. Jimmy will not. Jimmy will
Yeah,
be. Jimmy's the night owl. He's
right.
just getting warmed up at 12:15
That's
a.m.
true. But yeah, 12:15 Central, 1:15 Eastern is when we'll be back on Tuesday, May 30th. And it's kind of a good segue into, okay, now that we're on LinkedIn and we're on YouTube and we've got this direction that we'd like to go with this channel and essentially creating a podcast around this channel. This is kind of would be the start of season 2, so to speak, is how you called it earlier, Greg. And I really like
Yep.
that. So we did an odd number of episodes for season 1, which was 29. But it was more of a follow along and watch on YouTube than it could have been a podcast. And so we're going to start tailoring some of the way the discussions go to being more podcast oriented so people can listen and they can also watch if they'd like to do that on YouTube as well. So anything to add there, Greg?
I'm excited.
Mhm.
I think so it is Jimmy and I like to plan. We like to have plans. And I think this has been the right amount of outside of our comfort zone
Mhm.
in terms of we did 29 episodes. We had some planning right before we went live, but overall there wasn't this extremely well developed plan. I
Mhm.
think that it taught me a number of really good lessons, and hopefully you as well. But one of the big ones was there is beauty in serendipity. We thought it was going to go a certain way. It went a couple of different ways, and instead of just we could have very easily said, "Oh well, this isn't doing what we want. Just thumbs down, quit, be done." But we kept moving forward, and I'm excited about where it ended up. And I think this is very much the entrepreneur's journey, right?
Mhm.
You start a thing, you try it, it doesn't work, and there are many people who just stop and say, "I guess I'm not cut out for this." The reality is a small percentage of people try the first thing and then awesome stuff ensues.
Sure.
So from my standpoint, I'm excited about this new chapter, this new season in AI driven business because I really think we're getting closer and closer to the sort of content, the sort of uh, the show that we want to create.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And I think whenever we come back, and we didn't talk about this offline at all, this is just something that came to me a little bit. Instead of having it called AI Driven Business Daily Live, we might just want to call it the AI Driven Business Podcast and
Mhm.
start fresh. And we can
Yeah.
recap everything that's happened because there are limitations with AI that we have found trying to do this. We've tried using Auto GPT, which, if you don't know what that is, you can watch some of the episodes, but there's a lot of limitations with that. No matter what you see on Twitter and you see on these other platforms, Auto GPT is not the next, it's not the biggest thing ever. There's a lot of issues with it. There's a lot of issues with ChatGPT, but there's a lot of great things too. And I mean, it personally saves me hours upon hours of time. And so we want to highlight that while also talking about some of the new things coming out. So anybody that is a nerd like me, Craig, and wants to see some of these AI updates and wants to know how to use them as best as possible in the business without saying that this thing's going to cure everything, I think that that's what the podcast is going to be about. It would also give us the ability to not have to do it daily, because I think sometimes that daily pressure is going to be difficult with if we're talking about changes or new things that are happening. But we might do it daily, we might do it weekly, we might do it every other day or something. But not having the name Daily Live reduces some of the pressure and allows us to kind of move forward with the podcast as we see fit. And we, like I said, we'll probably continue to talk daily, I would assume, me and you, Greg, to just kind of
Yeah,
figure out, or maybe we
absolutely.
go live at different times. But if it's a
Because
podcast,
Jimmy and I have so many other projects that, so here's the other thing.
Mhm.
There have been so many other projects that have been birthed out of AI driven business and us talking
Mhm.
every day for the last 29 working days.
Yeah.
So many cool things. So I know you and I both have have said out loud and to ourselves, we need a little more time on these other things to push them up the hill and get them to where they need to be.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's exciting, and I agree. I think we will continue to we will talk every day.
yeah.
We will invite people in, maybe not every day, but we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's exciting too because I think with the podcast, it gives us the opportunity. I mean, I've run a podcast called Biblical Business Leaders. We can start adding that in and broadcast it to tons of different platforms, and I think that
Mhm.
makes it more fun. It gives us,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just sounds a lot more fun than what this had started to become, which was frustrating when you put in a prompt and then you get a great response and use the same prompt and you get a different one the next day. It's,
Oh.
it's difficult. And so we can talk about those things. I recently bought a business 8 days ago. And so there's a lot of things on my plate too. But AI will help with that. Actually, I've used AI a lot for some of my
Uh-huh.
Facebook posts or emails that I'm sending out for my YouTube content. I mean, I use this every day. I pay for the pro subscription of what, $20 a month. It's nothing in comparison to how much time I save, especially with those integrations we talked about last time, which we'll probably continue to talk about on the podcast
Yeah.
and kind of restart that conversation. Because I'm assuming we're just going to say, hey, starting Monday or Tuesday, May 30th, this is the start of the podcast. Let's give an
Yep.
overview, kind of like we're doing today, a little different. And then let's get into some of the cool stuff. And
Yep.
we can get into the cool stuff that we've learned. We can get into the cool stuff that's coming out. And it gives us a huge possibility there. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah, me too.
You
It
know?
does. It does. And yeah, said it well, my friend.
And we can also, I mean, this isn't necessarily a Christian podcast, but we need to remember that, hey, this thing isn't God, right? There's a lot of mistakes with AI. And if you get on Twitter, at least for me, I get on Twitter and I see like, oh my goodness, AI is just going to cure everything. And it's the end all be all. And I think there's a lot of things people don't include. They don't talk about the issues. They don't talk about the headaches.
Agreed.
Um, you know,
Agreed.
it will
And
happen.
there's it and from a distance, if
Mhm.
you don't use it every day, it can be either enthralling or terrifying.
Yeah.
And because how many people have said, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna eliminate so many jobs."
Hmm.
And I don't think that's true today.
Right.
And I don't think it will become any more true at any point in the future. So, I mean, 10 years, maybe.
Hmm.
2 years, oh, we got a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, and I know that there have been jobs eliminated due to AI coming in, but it's typically going to be, unfortunately, more creative jobs, like if you are a writer, if you're a copywriter in some cases. However, the people that will do the best in the long term are the ones that learn it now and add it to their
Yes,
craft to not just get better at it, but also to have a higher productivity or
mhm,
productivity because of it. If you're a
yes,
copywriter and you can go from writing a couple things a day to 10 to 15 to 20 things a day or more,
right,
and you can tweak it based off your expertise, those are the people that'll succeed. The ones that'll fail are going to be the ones that say, oh no, this is destroying everything I'm doing. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm going to fight against it.
exactly.
You can fight against it as much as you want, but unfortunately it's here. And these are just the things that are out are the things that we see. I mean, goodness, this technology
Right,
has been around for a while. Google hasn't even
yes.
talked about it until ChatGPT came out. I'm thinking that there's even way more underground that we don't know about, but it's
Yep.
exploded and will continue to
It
grow.
it's so funny that you bring that up because so ChatGPT, big splash, I don't know what it was, 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, maybe longer. I don't know, I lose track. And and no one has heard anything from Google about AI. And all of a sudden, ta-da, we have a product.
Yeah.
And so you have to like they didn't just say, "Oh gosh, OpenAI released something. Guys, whip something up quick." They've been working on that years and years
Mhm.
and years. How many other stealth mode startups are out there
Yeah.
that just haven't haven't come into the radar?
Right.
Probably a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of the advancements, seeing things updating, changing, evolving. It's happening fast right
Yeah.
now. Oh my goodness, it's
And
fast.
even legal changes too. I mean, I know Sam Altman,
Yeah.
OpenAI's
Mhm.
creator? He was at Congress and was for more government oversight recently. And we should
Yep.
probably have gone through that article in one of our future episodes, but he was talking
Yeah.
about it. Like, there's going to be a lot of legal changes and regulatory changes as well with this, because it
100%.
can become a lot. It can become too powerful, I think, quickly. And even some people that are high up in AI are scared about the power that it can create in the future. So we're
Agreed.
going to talk about all these things. I
Yes.
think on our future episodes, typically our structure will be an introduction and our summary. If we still continue to do summaries, I'm not sure if we're doing a podcast, if we'll want to do that or not.
Right.
But we'll also we'll spotlight different things within AI, news or new things that are coming out, or new updates like ChatGPT, or highlighting maybe one or two of the integrations or plugins that they have, and we can show how to set them up, as well as talking about how we're personally using it, what we've used it for in our own businesses and multiple facets. And then we'll, sometimes go through live testing and examples, and that'll be the gist of it. But I think we might have a legal segment every so often, or government segment, even a world news segment. How are other places handling some of this? Because our audience isn't
Right.
just the United States. And so,
True.
yeah, I think that's where we're going. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be some extra work, I think, because we have to prepare a little bit more. Our initial goal was, hey, let's get on and just we are only doing what they see, right? And so we didn't want to
Right.
prepare too much in between. While that's I actually still love the innocence of that idea, and I still think it could work. There's a lot more to it that we don't have time to do.
Yep.
To learn about
Yep.
drip irrigation systems would have been impossible, to test products that we were recommending for affiliate marketing. Now, if you don't have any issues with that and you just want to take ChatGPT as its word, you could probably build a business just fine, but you might have
Yep.
issues down the road too. So, uh,
Yep. And Jimmy and I have pretty strong convictions when it comes to some of those things.
mhm.
Just being really above board about everything that we're doing, and it just it has to feel right. And some of those things, after a little bit, it didn't feel as right as we wanted it to. And so that was where we just kept evolving and evolving and evolving until we got to a thing that it feels right.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, I don't have anything else for today, Greg. Did you want to
No.
talk about anything else? I think this was a good recap of season one, even though it's probably going to start as season one on the 30th for the podcast purposes.
Season 0.
Season
This is
0.
season
Oh,
0.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
okay, I've always been intrigued when people do that. Even if you've heard of 75 hard, there's 75 hard phase 0, and I've done it twice. That's the 75 days. Phase 1 is after you've completed the 75 days. So it's
Right,
interesting.
right. That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So here you go. We just finished, uh, was maybe our 29 I don't know. There's no analogy. Anyway, moving on.
yeah. And if you'd like to see every little twist and turn, every detail that we went through, there's a lot of nuggets, I feel, in our first 29 episodes. I mean, we built out
Yes.
websites, we built out blog posts, we've done SEO it has analyzed hundreds of rows of data for us and given us the SEO keywords that we needed to go after based off of the data that we fed it from an Excel sheet. Essentially, there's so
Yeah.
much there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we've learned a lot.
there is.
We've
We
actually learned
did.
a lot. Yeah.
I think we quickly forget how far we have come
Mhm.
in 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 the last 29 days.
Yeah. We didn't even know about Auto GPT when we started, or any of those
Correct.
things, right? Um,
Yeah.
so it's pretty
Yep.
crazy. Bard exists now. It didn't when we started.
And
The
it's now
plugins,
free
all of it. Yeah.
free for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pretty crazy.
So it's interesting to think 29 days doesn't feel like a lot. Yeah. Auto GPT, we had no idea that it existed. Clearly it did.
Mhm.
We Bard wasn't I don't think it was in beta even. You had to be somebody special to be able to get access to it.
Yeah.
Now it's wide open for everybody. plugins, web browsing in
Mhm.
ChatGPT. There's been a lot of advancement in 29 days. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped to continue to learn, to try to digest
Yeah.
and provide what we learn to everyone.
Yep. I totally agree. Well, awesome. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything for today. Then we will be back live for our AI driven business podcast. We're going to change the name from Daily Live to podcast on Tuesday, May 30th at 12:15 Central, 1:15 Eastern. You can join us on the YouTube channel at AI Driven Business, or you can join us on LinkedIn. We may even, try some other streaming sites if we've got the ability. Like, I think you can stream to Twitter and stuff like that. Actually, I don't know, but it might be a good idea to do that, considering the direction that I think Twitter's going to try to go with some of their
Oh, big
recent
time.
recent changes, I guess, with their um, personalities on
Yes.
Twitter. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I think video will be important over there. But anyway, I
Yeah.
think we're good for the day. Thank you so much, everybody, for season 0 on AI Driven Business Daily Live, and we will see you on the 30th for podcast episode 1 and season 1. So have a great rest of your day, blessed rest of your week. See you in 11 days.